It's an NRL news update. Subscribe to SEN League on YouTube and the SEN podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
All right. Now, Team List Tuesday was yesterday, and the great Mark Bosnich, he put his own stamp on it, I believe.
Certainly did that.
But there are some key takeaways. Okay, so James Fisher-Harris and Adam Fanua-Blake are going to make their club debuts. Obviously, James Fisher-Harris turning out for the Wars for the very first time. What did you make of that? I tipped him when he first went over there when they had Tohu Harris announce his retirement. And, the captaincy was obviously vacant. I sort of had him as a potential, as James Fisher-Harris as a potential captain. I don't know if you can just turn up and be made captain. Some players can, I suppose. And what did you make of the fact that he wasn't made captain? Like, because he strikes me as a leader.
Yeah, I thought wasn't he, mate? Was there is there a joint captaincy arrangement
there
between
is, so
him?
I think there's a leadership group, but I think Mitch Barnett is the on-field captain.
Right. He sort of strikes me, if that's the case, he strikes me as probably them maybe going to him and asking if he wanted to do it. But then he strikes me as a sort of guy that, no, you got to earn your stripes at the club, even though, well, he's done it all.
Yeah.
Already. But he'll definitely be the on-field enforcer. But they're the official new Bash brothers of the comp. Mitchell Barnett and James Fisher-Harris as your starting front row. So if them two can, well, number one, stay fit and get through a full season, if you're Lukey Metcalf, Chanel Harris-Tavita, that's the combo that's been named this week, they would be frothing at the prospect of playing behind those two guys, because it doesn't get any more brutal than that.
That's the thing. And you know what? It goes back to those days. I remember years ago talking to the Hindy about the games he hated the most. Nathan Hindmarsh always said, even when they weren't a good football side, even when they weren't winning, an away game to go over to play the Warriors, he said, you always just got bashed up.
Yeah.
He goes, you never look forward to it, even when you were doing well and they weren't, because physically they always brought it. And so I think if they can bring a bit of that reputation back to a trip to Mount Smart Stadium this year, I think that's only a good thing. Now, the Warriors, as we said, Warriors halves Chanel Harris-Tavita and Luke Metcalf have been named. Sharks local junior Sam Stonestreet to replace Siona Katoa on the wing.
Yep.
Which, isn't that nice when you get a local junior sort of turning out?
It's a great football name as well, Sam Stonestreet. That sounds like he should be scoring tries for his local club, and that's exactly what he's doing, because he can. 100%. And he's got the luscious mullet going as well. He can score a meat pie.
Well, that's good on a winger too, isn't it? A flying mullet on a winger.
Yes,
beautiful thing to see in rugby
you almost need that. And just back on the Raiders, so we're going to see Owen Paddy. He's making his.
Speaking of great names,
great name. There's been a few different nicknames that I have heard. We might have to settle on one before he makes his official debut, because we saw him in the trials, but only got promoted to the top 30, I think, as of last week. So he's going to make his debut off the bench for the Raiders. Can't wait to see that. Another debutant in Sevilio Tamale, who played a game. I think he's played one game before for the Dragons last year. He makes his Raiders debut. So they're probably the big key takeaways. Team List Tuesday. Oh, one more. Brian To'o ruled out for the Panthers. So there's been a bit of a funny naming of that back line for the Panthers. And I think I tried to speak about this yesterday, but Bosman might have cut me off.
all right, moving on then.
Luke Garner has been named in the number 4 jersey in the centres with Paul Alamotti. He's shifting to a wing. But there's some funny business going on the extended bench. So they've got Jesse McLean and Blaze Talangi as well in that extended squad. So they can obviously slot in anywhere in that back line. So watch this space.
Yeah, if you know anything about the Panthers, they're going to be dangerous, no matter what they're naming at this point. Now, Dolphins news. Max Plath extends. He's going to extend until 2028. This is from the Dolphins website. Max Plath has inked a new deal on the eve of the 2025 NRL season, signing a one-year contract extension that'll keep him in the red and gold till at least the end of 2028. A reward for his outstanding 2024 campaign. He made 21 NRL appearances, claimed multiple club accolades, including the Arthur Beetson Medal as Dolphins Player of the Year. That's high praise.
You could pick up Max Plath and just dump him in early 90s, middle of the 80s, maybe late 70s, and he wouldn't look out of place at all.
Yeah.
So he tapes the noggin up, and he just puts his head places where I mean, I certainly wouldn't put mine. And the majority of the NRL don't seem to like to put their heads where he does. He's a gun. He's tough as nails.
It's old school. So the Arthur Beetson name near his suits him.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he couldn't do that medal any more justice, I don't think.
I like it. Dolphins forwards off contract this year. Off contract this year, Felice Kafusi, Harrison Graham, Kenny Bromwich, Josh Kerr, Mark Nichols, Kurt Donohoe, and Mason Teague. That's a lot of off contracts there.
Just quickly to the text board, this is Skip from Robertson with a little nomination for a nickname for Owen Paddy. He's going with Selma and Paddy.
Oh, I
little
like
Simpsons reference there. So keep the nickname potential. Tourist, I'm happy with it. I didn't mind it. Skip. Tourist shaking his head. So you might not be winning a Signet
You got a better
power
one,
bank.
Tourist? Or are you just judging Skip from Robertson?
Well, I like the Joel Kane knick-knack.
Knick-knack?
As in knick-knack, pattywhack.
Oh, yeah. That if that doesn't come out in commentary from Joel Kane this year.
SEN Stadium. Go to the SEN app. Get SEN Stadium. And every time he says that, I think you might have to do a little bit
Can
of a
we
drink.
get a market, an over-under on Joel Kane saying that, please?
You know what? I reckon, here's the market. I reckon it is, so he's playing off the bench. Joel Kane, I reckon it's 2.5 is the line. Chances are you're about to lose. What are you really gambling with? But that's my market.
I like that market too because it does rely on Max Plath doing so Max Plath will have an impact on it and Joel Kane will have an impact on it. That's almost like a built-in multi. You're relying on two things. Sorry, no, Paddy. Matt, you're looking at me like Max Plath. Yeah, Max Plath might have to do something depending who they're playing. So moving on. So, Dolphins forwards off contract. Some important pieces, obviously, Daniel Saifidi and Thomas Flegler, 2027 there. And the 2028 team leaders, they're saying Max Plath, Jeremy Marshall-King and Tommy Gilbert, the future of that club. What do you make of that, mate?
Well, I know what they need straight away. They need to get Flegler back on the field quick, smart. Tommy Gilbert, I think he's a lot more closer than Flegler, so I think he might play in round one for the Finns. So there's two big ticks potentially for this year. And Jeremy Marshall-King, because he's dangerous. When he was on, he seemed to be, when he was on, the Dolphins were on. He was almost their barometer last year. And then when you throw in, if you can get their forward pack going, you've got Zay Katoa in the halves, who's still only something like 4 months old. People forget how young he is as a player. He's only going to get a lot better. And a bloke called Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow as well.
Yeah.
Just chiming in.
Not a bad weapon there.
They could be anything. But enough about the Dolphins. This is Titans membership day.
Yes. So let's talk about the Knights. The Knights have confirmed they'll consider a 10-year deal for Dylan Brown. This is from Dan Walsh and Robert Dillon at the Sydney Morning Herald. Phil Gardner, the Newcastle chief, has confirmed a 10-year contract offer for Dylan Brown is at risk that the Knights are willing to take, although he admits they are still at best an outside chance of signing the Parramatta playmaker. We think Dylan or someone like Dylan is the missing piece for us. We have confidence in Fletcher Sharp's progression, and we're confident we've got what we've got in Cogs, which is Jack Cogger and Tyson Gamble for this season. But certainly you want great players to come to the clubs. We see Dylan Brown as a great player. We're giving it our absolute best shot. And this is my favourite bit. And why wouldn't you want to come to Newcastle? Why wouldn't you?
How long we got?
How long we got? Mate, have a little listen to this. This is what I love that the club are doing. They're putting it out there to players. Have a listen to this. Cuisine. We've got the world's first drive-through only KFC. Or if you'd like to dine in, try King Street Macca's. A Macca's so popular, it has bouncers every Friday and Saturday night. So Dylan, if you can't decide where you want to play, why not Newcastle? because nobody else is keen to give you $1.4 million a year. Just remember, why not Newcastle? Mate, they make a good point.
That was outstanding. I mean, I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Drive-through, what was it? Drive-through.
KFC, world's first drive-through only KFC.
The world's first.
World first.
Why not Newcastle?
Why not Newcastle?
Why not Newcastle,
That's what I'm
Dylan
gonna say.
Brown?
All
That's
right.
outstanding. I knew there was something secretive going on in the building when I walked in. You were in the studio recording something. I wasn't allowed in anywhere near.
Yeah,
Tell you what, that was worth the wait.
The Knights said, Barney, while you're in SEN, can you knock up another Why Not Newcastle for us?
Can we
We've done a
send that
few-
to them, actually?
Yeah.
They need that.
Please do. Yeah, because it didn't work. The last one I did for a certain Mr. Thompson didn't work. So we need to get these working.